Memphis is the home of the blues, rock and roll, and Earle Farrell.
From the Collierville Square to the mighty Mississippi, the Earle Farrell for Memphis show is all about good things that happen across the Bluff City and the people who make Memphis cool.
The Earle Farrell for Memphis show is made possible by our title sponsor, Southern Security Federal Credit Union, and by Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm Insurance.
Plus, Diane Kimbrough, Lady Di, your insurance PI. Also by Dive Shop and Dive Ventures nationwide. Jim Karras Chevrolet with George Gully. Napa Cafe Memphis and Glenda Hastings. Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment. For Memphis Magazine. The Live at the Garden Concert Series. And the Orpheum Theater Group Memphis. Thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible.
And now, coming to you from Lansky Brothers, Clothier to the King, inside the world-famous Peabody Hotel, with the heart of a cowboy and Memphis in his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Earle Farrell.
And thank you very much, and welcome into Lansky's. Another hot summer day, but not in here. It's cool, because it's the coolest place in town. And speaking of cool, Dawn Graeter is with us this afternoon. She just arrived back from the continent, the world tour. Welcome back to Memphis, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Yes, that was great. Came back to the heat.
Yeah. Well, but it wasn't cold in Europe, though, you said.
No, it was cold in Scotland. So we were in Scotland for 3 days. And while we were there, it was, rainy and a little damp like Scotland, I think, always is for the most part, and cool. But then when we went to London, it was really nice. And Paris was actually warm.
Wow.
They were having record heat days there. So we kind of weren't expecting that. But it was a great trip. We had a good time. Glad to be home, but it was fun. We had a great experience.
I was just noticing on the open, Kathy Thurman is in London right now.
Oh,
so
hey, Kathy.
half the sponsors absconded from Memphis.
That's right.
But you're back.
Yes.
And you've been busy since you got back. In fact, today you were at a graduation. Tell us about that.
I was. We were at a Life Set graduation for Youth Villages. 50 of their Life Set students graduated today at the Church of God in Christ over on Mason Street. Very historical venue, and we were proud to sponsor gifts that they will take from the graduation to kind of start their life on their own. So we were proud to be a part of that and kind of help them get their start in life, whichever direction that they go, work or college or whatever that looks like going forward.
It may not sound like a big deal, but getting towels and a suitcase,
That's right.
things that a lot of people take for granted. These were like things that, hey, I can actually leave the house and not carry everything in a garbage bag.
That's right. That's right. And this was kind of the thing that used to happen. And so basically what we wanted is to provide them with a laundry bag and a duffel bag, a backpack, and a suitcase so that they can have the things that other people would have. We provided, household items, toiletry items, paper towels, things like that. But also $50 gift cards so that if there's things missing that they needed specifically, they can take the gift card and go purchase those.
Well, I think it's very thoughtful and timely for those kids because getting off to a good start is very important, which you also do with youth villages. We've got the second annual backpack tour that's on right now. In fact, it's let me move over here to this picture. There it is. Is up and running, and it's in conjunction with Youth Villages. Second year you've done it. But this is because, and we started finding out about this from other people, because there's so many kids that the teachers end up having to pay for things like pencils and notebooks and stuff like that because the schools don't provide for it, and the kids don't have the resources themselves. So.
Right.
And how many backpacks did you do last year, and how many so far this year?
Well, we started out actually about 4 or 5 years ago doing just a couple of hundred. We upped to 600 last year.
Wow. This
year we hope to do 650. So we continue to increase every year because obviously the need in our community continues to increase. And it's just a way that we can really provide the tools that these children need to really hopefully have a successful year. There's been a lot of statistics that prove that children who start school with the needed supplies, the needed uniforms, and all of those things really have a better success rate at start to school and throughout the school year. So this is just a way that we can really change the trajectory and hopefully ensure that more children get a better start and are more successful throughout the school year.
I'm showing some more pictures of the backpacks.
That's good.
And we look at all the things that are in there. And I remember when I went to the first grade, because I went home at noon on my first day of school in the first grade, I had a Big Chief tablet and a number 2
Those
pencil.
are great. I used to have those too.
But that was it for the first grade. I
it.
get in there, and at noon they broke, and we're going to go to lunch in the cafeteria.
Right.
And so we walk out the door, and everybody takes a right, and I just kept going straight across the playground back to my house. And Mom said,
Well, it was nice you were close to home.
she said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I gave it a shot, Mom."
That's right.
And I could take it till noon, and I said, "Nah, this is not for me."
No, I'm not doing this. I'm out. I'm
made,
out. That's
she
right.
made me go back. But,
Well, things have changed. The average cost of the supplies that we provide in these backpacks is $100. So we do $100 worth of school supplies per backpack. So it's important for everyone. You can donate the actual supplies, which there's a list provided on Youth Village's website and in all of our branches and locations. Or you can make monetary donations. There's a QR code that I've given you that you can show later. And people can go and actually donate money. And then we will take that money and go buy whatever supplies that we need that we did not collect. Collections go through tomorrow, close of business tomorrow, at any Southern Security location and at Youth Villages. And once that closes, we also can continue to collect monetary donations. We will stuff the backpacks on July the 29th. So we need all the donations made by then. And the hope is that we have the supplies and or the money to put at least $100 worth of school supplies in each backpack. And we have paid for the backpacks, and so those are being donated by us as well.
But other things, ballpoint pens, black, blue, and red, binders, 1 inch, binder dividers, colored pencils, crayons, Expo Dry eraser markers, glue sticks, all the stuff that you don't think you're going to need, but they have to do all the projects they work on.
That's right.
And once again, the deadline is July 18th. Drop off at any Memphis area Southern Security location. I guess you could do it at Oxford, and they'll get it up here.
Absolutely. Any Southern Security location. There's one in Le Bonheur. There's one at AutoZone. So any of the locations, we will make sure that they get where they need to be. But, yes, if you want to donate there as well, that's also an option.
Well, I know this is just one of many things that Southern Security is involved with throughout the year. And you've also got a big project going on in Collierville. Your new headquarters is supposed to be open in October.
Yes.
I was by there just the other day, and of course the brick's all up and the windows are in, but I haven't.
And the air conditioner's working.
Oh,
wow,
right.
That's big, especially right now. Toured it on Friday. It's fabulous. We're proud and excited to get in there. But yes, we should get certificate of occupancy on October 1. We hope to move in the following weekend. That Monday is Columbus Day holiday. So we're going to use that weekend because we have that extra day, and hopefully we will open to the public on that Tuesday right after that holiday, and everything will be working and going great. But waited a long time for this, and we're excited, and it'll be a great location. It'll be a great addition to the community. It's going to be a place where everyone in the community can come and participate. We've got community space. We're going to set up an area to do a podcast, and we want you to be there as well as others to participate in that. Hope to work with the Collierville Chamber and get some businesses in there so that they can also talk about what they do in the community and help to promote their businesses as well as ours.
Because you have a thing on the second floor outside.
Yes.
That's really cool.
It's
gonna
amazing.
Yeah.
We were up there last week. It's over the drive-through area, and we've completed it, and we're going to put railing around that, and it's just going to be kind of an outdoor eating event space, and the view is spectacular, I will say. So it's fun. We were up there the other day and talked about how great it'll be. And how fun it'll be to be up there and be able to look out and just kind of enjoy on a nice day, just kind of enjoy the scenery and just take a break from being inside.
Well, just having the room, because every location you have now, everybody's on top of
It's
each
crowded.
other. So
It
this
is.
will be a great addition.
It'll be exciting.
Once again, if you want to help out with the Backpack Hero Drive, Youth Village's Backpack for Heroes, along with Southern Security, and the deadline is July 18th. Any Southern Security location, East Memphis, Bartlett, Collierville, Oxford, any of those, just drop it off. Or you can, and I'll put this up, the UR code on how you can donate any other things.
Right.
I'll put that up on my Facebook page after the show.
Sure, do that, and then you can go to Youth Village's website as well. The QR code is there as well. So.
Now, you were over in Europe during the 4th of July?
I was.
So did they do anything special over there, or did they just thumb their noses at us?
I don't think they don't celebrate America's birthday, but
I would have.
Yeah.
They said, "What's the party?" I said,
That's right.
This is when we broke up with you guys,
That's
except for
exactly
France.
right. They all have their version of that
Yeah.
story, which we heard several times, and so it's interesting to hear the other side of the story, and really just kind of all the history and and their thoughts about that as well. When you've only heard from America, and so it's kind of fun to experience that.
Well, it is, and you always want to be very humble and giving,
That's
and
exactly
say,
right.
you guys, we really appreciate France. England, not so much.
Yes. We had some very colorful conversations. Some of the tour guides had their opinions about how all that went down.
Yeah.
And we saw a couple of statues, one of George Washington, and it was on some grass. And I was like, why is it on some grass? And they're like, well, because he said he would never set foot on
Really?
on soil. So they transferred this grass in apparently
From
from
the United States.
and that's what he's standing on. So interesting stories and their their version of what happened. And so it was interesting, but it was a good time. We really enjoyed it.
I know that John and Pat Tigert used to live in London for many years and had a house there right off of Hyde Park, and it was like 5-story, this mansion there. And every 4th of July, also it's when Wimbledon is being played.
Right.
And all Johnny Carson, all these famous Americans would come over there, and the Tigers would have a 4th of July party for all the Americans.
Wow.
And
That's fun.
did fireworks and everything.
I bet. That's great. I will say the architecture in all of those countries, just spectacular. You don't see buildings like that in the United States because obviously it's so much older.
Unless you come to the Peabody.
Right.
And this is the most grandest thing we
It
have
is.
in
It
Memphis
is.
because of the architecture.
Absolutely. So you just don't see that, just the intricacies of and understanding that people did that by hand is just overwhelming to believe that they took that kind of time.
And Notre Dame, they had a difficulty finding people to rebuild it because of how...
They did, and it was spectacular.
You got to see
actually
that?
got to tour it. So we were thrilled to be able to get to go in there, and they did a fabulous job. You couldn't tell that anything had ever happened to it. So it was, very beautiful.
Because a lot of people thought they would never be able to rebuild it.
That's right.
And they really did it in record time.
And they did it, as I'll say, they did it very quickly.
Yeah.
And it looks fantastic.
So you tell the construction people on your building, no dragging your feet.
That's exactly right. You've got no excuse. That's right.
I saw what they did in Paris.
It's like, get it done. That's right. That's right.
All right.
So,
Don Graeter, thank you for coming in, and welcome
thank
back.
you for having me.
We'll have you back again soon, and looking forward to the opening of your new building.
we will have a big party there, and we want all of y'all to be there, and hopefully we can broadcast live from there at some point.
Absolutely.
So
We'll give a tour of the building.
Fun. Yes, that'll
All
be
right.
great. Thank you.
Thank you, Don Graeter
All right.
and Southern Security. We're going to take a quick break. Here's some of our other sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dawn Graeter, President and CEO of Southern Security Federal Credit Union. We're the proud title sponsor of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show, coming to you live from Lansky's in the world-famous Peabody Hotel and celebrating all of the great things about our great city, Memphis, Tennessee.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm so proud to be part of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show, streaming live from Lansky's from the Peabody. We will be showcasing not only Napa Cafe, but some great restaurants around town. We look forward to seeing you.
Hi, everyone. It's Diane Kimbrough, Lady Di, your insurance PI. And I'm here to tell you about the new podcast that Earle Farrell from Memphis is doing. And we're doing it downtown live from the Peabody, which is behind me and next to the Rendezvous. And we're going to be talking all things Memphis, but we're also going to be talking about health insurance because that applies to everyone. And I can help you in every area. So I look forward for you listening to us and learning more about what we can do for you in Memphis and how I can help you with your health.
Hello, Memphis Mid-South. And first, I'd like to thank you for visiting with Earle Farrell Memphis today. And we want to support him just like you do. I'm George Gully, one of the sales managers at Jim Carey Chevrolet. We've been in business here in Memphis for over 75 years. I've been associated with the company for almost 25. And I'll help you find the right car, truck, or SUV here at not only our Chevy store, but also Buick, GMC, Nissan, Subaru. We can help you find that right car. Keep watching, Earl, and come see me. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm, and I'm so excited to be one of the sponsors for the Earle Farrell from Memphis show, broadcasting live from Lansky's at the Peabody. And I'll tell you all about what we've got going on at our office. Gift cards for quotes. No purchase necessary. I'm better looking than a lizard.
Hi, this is Randy Wright from the Dive Shop and Dive Ventures in Memphis. We've been in Memphis over 64 years teaching people to dive, snorkel, and swim. We'd love to have you come join us and have some fun. We're also a part of the Dive Ventures group with 18 locations across the country, stretched from Phoenix to Vienna, Virginia. Please give us a call. We'll be able to take care of you at 999 South Yates in Memphis or call us at 901-763-DIVE.
Hi, I'm Brett Batterson, President and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group in downtown Memphis. We are so pleased with our partnership with the Earle Farrell Show and very happy that he is broadcasting live from Lansky's at the historic Peabody Hotel. We're all here to make Memphis better.
Hi, my name is Jameson Todd, and I'm the director of Live at the Garden and the Radiance Amphitheater. And we're so excited for our 25th year of Live at the Garden here at the Memphis Botanic Garden. We've got a great lineup for you this season, so come on out.
Hi, I'm Olivia Wall, Director of Marketing and Communications for Memphis Botanic Garden and Live at the Garden. We've had Earle Farrell right along the way for the past 25 years, and we can't wait to talk more about the season this summer on the Earle Farrell for Memphis show.
So come out to Live at the Garden. Our first show's on June 21st.
Hi, I'm Mitch Wright. And I'm his son, Mickey. And we're the owners of Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air. And proud sponsors of the Earle Farrell from Memphis show. We're thankful to be part of the Memphis community. We've been in business for 42 years, taking care of people and loving the people of the Mid-South.
Hey, my name is Jake. I'm with Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment. I just wanted to introduce myself and kind of what I do here at Phoenix. I'm a sales engineer. A lot of the times we talk about home theaters, but there's so much more that we offer. We offer a lot of home security solutions, as well as water detection and everything. So if you guys ever need anything, give us a call. We'll get you guys fixed up.
And welcome back. Joining me now is a longtime friend, Pat Moraines, who's
Rainer.
You didn't let me finish. She started shaking her head before I even got the word. Pat Rainer, who's been out in L.A. for, 30 years?
Since 89, more than 30 years.
Wow. But I met her first year along with Beth Hudson, who's now Schaefer, Jim Elliott, Steve Lacey. I mean, there was just
Sandra,
Fred
Ethel
Senstack. I mean, it was this whole big Channel 3 crew, although you never worked for Channel 3.
I did not.
In fact, you're claiming the first thing they would always introduce you with is that you were president of the Beatles fan club Memphis. because Tennessee already had a statewide, but nobody.
No,
had anything.
no. The U.S. had a national fan club president.
But you convinced them Memphis needed one.
No, I just sent them a telegram and asked to be in charge of the national fan club, and they said, we already have someone in place, but if you want to have a chapter in Memphis, we'll send you the paperwork. So they did.
And actually, I've seen a copy of it. Let's take a look first, though, at you in the bonnet. This is kind of an interesting picture. And you said this is the only time in your life you were ever called Precious.
Yes.
The next photograph, though, is Elvis, and it's at Pop Tunes. And the reason Beth and I were talking about this is, well, it's because you worked at Pop Tunes.
Not Pop Tunes, Poplar Tunes.
That's right. Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah. So I'm not going to ask you about anything, but I'm just going to say what happened next, because apparently my information was wrong.
About what?
Poplar Tunes and Pop Tunes. But you worked at... And that's where Elvis used to go to find out where his records were in sales.
Oh, everybody did. I mean, I used to wait on Al Green and the high rhythm section, and any bands that were in town to do concerts, they would come in and do in-store and whatever. And I mean, I got the education of a lifetime, and I value that time I spent at Poplar Tunes. I can't even say what a great experience it was.
And you look now, it's almost like Blockbuster. There is nothing like a record store anymore. Everything is online.
Well, not really. I mean, there's Shangri-La and there's Goner, and in L.A. there's Freak Beat and Amoeba and all kinds of groovy record stores.
But not like when it was in the heyday of albums. When you had Peaches, you had Poplar Tunes, you had
different
record stores on Summer Avenue, you had them out east, you had them everywhere, because that's where you got your records. I remember as a kid walking to this little store and buying 45s, because that's all I could afford back in the day. And albums, I mean, who could afford an album?
I met my friend June Colbert, who worked at Hotline and repped RCA, and actually took me to see Elvis the first and only time I saw him. She used to work the record department at Dixie Mart out on Thomas.
Wow.
And you could go in there and buy 45s for like 50 cents.
Yeah, they were $1 where I was, so you got a bargain deal. But it was always music that you kept coming back to. You worked around it, sold it at Poplar Tunes. Then your big thing was becoming the president of the Beatles fan club here.
But then after that, I became the president of the Gentry's fan club, and that was very meaningful to me because they were local, they were great, and I got to work with them on a daily basis.
And who was in the Gentrys?
Larry Raspberry, Bruce Bowles, Jimmy Hart, Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Fischer, and Larry Wall. Larry Wall played drums, and then he went on to work for Columbia.
Well, how were you able to get involved with all these people? Because you didn't play an instrument. You weren't a manager, so to speak. It's just you loved it? You loved being around those people?
I loved the music. And, it was a way for me to be involved and try to promote them and work with them and,
Just being around it. But throughout your life, that's been the one constant. It's always something to do with music. And you come back here, last time I saw you was at the Memphis Awards thing for the Hall of Fame.
For the Gentrys.
And it was Gentrys were there. You were actually called up on stage because you had been the fan club president.
Well, they requested that I be the person to do the induction.
Yeah.
And I've stayed friends with those guys my whole life.
And then look where Gentry Hart goes on to be involved in wrestling of all things.
Yep.
And everybody else kind of scattered to the seven winds. But there's still, everybody knows about the Gentrys.
Of course.
What was it? Keep On Dancing was the big hit they had?
Mm-hmm.
And they actually toured nationally.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
They came to L.A. and made a couple of films, and they toured extensively, and, they were like the last word in rock and roll in Memphis.
We got some more pictures here. This is one of you, and I'm not sure who's with you.
That's Larry Cohen, who was a photographer with the Pressimeter.
Oh, wow.
He and I used to hang out together and shoot photos, and he had a lab where he developed the film and printed stuff.
You just think about the Pressimeter, which went first years ago, and now...
And actually, that's at the Orpheum.
Really, I recognize the outside.
I think that was the night that they did the premiere of Robert Altman's film Remember My Name that featured Alberta Hunter.
Yeah. And then this one, I think, is probably the best picture I've ever seen of you. Your press is here.
Oh, thank you. That's my blue light photo.
We were talking about that. We said, I bet that was taken in blue light.
It surely was.
Here, this is the press conference where you actually presented the Beatles with the Key to the City.
Correct.
And that was at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Yes.
What is your feeling on the Mid-South Coliseum? And people want to save it. What's your feeling on it?
You know, I'm one of those people that loves to preserve history and hates to see things that are meaningful in terms of a historical perspective to go away. It's a big building, and I don't know. But, what do we have here now that's really a decent venue? The FedEx Forum and the Shell?
Well, you got downtown, the Convention Center, and the old
they don't
North
do
Hall.
Concerts.
Yeah.
Well, at what used to be Ellis
North.
Auditorium.
Exactly.
I saw Simon and Garfunkel, the Supremes, I saw The Who, I saw Lou Reed, I saw David Bowie, I saw Mott the Hoople, before they built the Coliseum, the auditorium was it. Dick Clark Caravan of Stars and all kinds of stuff.
Did you go to every single thing that came to Memphis musically?
Anything I liked, yes. And if I didn't like it, we would get in the car and go Nashville, New Orleans, Atlanta, St. Louis, Chicago, New York, whatever,
I've got a ticket stub. This was main floor of the Beatles Mid-South Coliseum, 1966. I had another picture of, and there you are, and we'll talk about that picture in a minute, but that was when Elvis had died, taken out in front.
This one, yes.
Yeah.
That was the day after his death when they had the coffin open and he lay in state in Graceland, and they let the fans go in the house and view the body.
That's because there was nobody in charge in those days. It was before Jack Soden came in and started getting...
Oh, yeah,
it was like, I talked to people that were police officers who were on the grounds, and they said getting an answer about anything was almost impossible.
It was hot. People were passing out. Every so often you would hear people, cops on their bullhorns, and the ambulances would come in and they'd carry fans off on a stretcher.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
I know that Ralph Hatley, who used to be head of security here at the Peabody, said he was out driving around in Elvis's golf cart doing crowd control, and then years later we're at the Elvis Museum, car museum across the street from Graceland that they built, and we're sitting in this golf cart, Ralph and I are, and Todd Morgan, who was the PR director there, goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're sitting in this golf cart." He goes, "That is not a golf cart. That is an artifact. It's a treasure." Said,
one of Elvis's golf carts?
Yeah, it was the one that he was driving around in the day Elvis died doing crowd control.
Yeah.
So he made us get out of the golf cart. But that was a day that literally is one of those dates that everybody knows exactly where they were and what they were doing when they heard the news.
Those 3 days were some of the most incredible and wild experiences of my life. Everybody I knew who was a reporter or a writer, from Bob Palmer and Peter Gorelnik, they were all coming to Memphis. They were all reporting on. We had a whole thing going on at Phillips Recording where Knox was fielding
Like you're
questions.
wearing a Phillips Recording T-shirt right there.
Well, Knox let me put a darkroom in that bar on the 3rd floor.
Wow.
So I spent a lot of time down there.
I was there in Graceland before they opened it to tours, and Todd Morgan let us, Steve Hutchison and I, in to interview Elvis's cook in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And we spent like a couple of hours, and they said they had to leave. He said, "Just don't go up to the 3rd floor." And I said, "Okay." And we didn't. And all these people over the years have said, "So you didn't go up there?" I said, "Nope. I told them I wouldn't."
Yeah.
So you don't do what you say you're not going to do.
One of the more incredible experiences I had was I worked for a time for a TV producer out of Nashville named Dick Hurd. He did Dick Hurd Presents or Dick Hurd Entertainment, and we would do independent stories for Entertainment Tonight and CNN, and when they had, I don't think it was the first candlelight vigil. I think it was the second one. They let us come to the home, set up. We got to go through the house. I actually went through Elvis's record collection.
Wow.
And then at the time when they would let the fans come in, we set up at the top of that hill with around the grave with our cameras, and they opened the gates at midnight, and all the fans with their candles lit, making that procession up the driveway was the most fantastic sight. I mean, it was
with
surreal.
The candles all lit.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
And they've had just huge ones over the years. I mean, literally 20,000 people out in front of Grayson. Does it surprise you at all that the fans keep coming?
Not really, because I think Elvis fans are sort of in a different category. They're very devoted. They've been fans for a long time, and his fans just seem to be wired that way, you know.
But now you're seeing generations.
Oh, you saw generations and generations. That first night we were out there with the candlelight vigil, I mean, there was a grandmother, a mother, and a little boy, and they had made him an Elvis jumpsuit. And it was midnight, and they were getting ready to do the candlelight vigil.
Well, now they're grandchildren of people that were alive when Elvis died, but they keep seeing him, they keep hearing his music. His music's very valuable today as it ever was. The movies people love because they're so set in that time period.
Yeah, it's really a period piece.
And here's somebody that is very familiar standing with the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, bless his heart.
Yeah, and amazingly, the Rolling Stones, except for him, they're all still intact and still performing. What was he like?
Charlie is like the ultimate English gentleman. He fancies horse racing. He loves horses. He loved clothing. He would go and have all these fabulous suits tailor-made for him. And, you know, by trade, he was a jazz drummer. And it's just really amazing to me that someone from that background just jumps right in with that pack of rock and roll hooligans and kept them together, you know?
Well, he did. Here's somebody from the E Street Band.
Yeah, bless his heart. That was the year that they gave him some kind of an award with the Blues Music Foundation, or what is it?
The Memphis Blues.
BMA.
Memphis Blues. It is foundation.
Help me. Blues Music Foundation.
Your fans are here.
I know. It's the other Pat.
We just had Pat on. The other Pat.
Uncle Earle a hug first. You know, he's really, he has to be treated special. So, how are you doing?
Sweetheart.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I didn't know you were here. I didn't know you were in town.
I just got here at like 1 o'clock this morning.
Word gets around quick when Pat hits Memphis.
Yeah. Oh wait, let's get it. In our black and a 90-degree weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole thing. It's a black and white ensemble.
I had white shoes earlier, but I took them off.
Well, it is Memphis. You can do that.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. If you have not seen the documentary about Steven Van Zandt, make yourself find a time to watch it, because
where can you find it?
I think it was on HBO.
Okay.
Because his work with politics and helping people who are oppressed and trying to fight for the little man, he's really quite an incredible human being.
Well, and then in The Sopranos, I mean, he played. I mean, I'm sitting there going, I really like his character.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, and he did a great job at that.
And he did that fantastic TV series in Norway.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was incredible.
Which I think it's the same thing with you. If you want to do something in this life, just go do it. You can find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's what you've done your entire career. Is you love music, you love these incredible musicians and performers, and you go, well, there are more of them living in L.A. than there are in Memphis. And then you also started your travel business, which you book all these bands all over the world, or make arrangements for them.
Well, I mean, I really got started because of John Scott. You know, he had moved to L.A. to be promotion man for MCA and then worked for Tom Petty, and he then started a separate company, and he offered me a job, and I moved to LA in '89 and have been there ever since.
Was it an adjustment moving to LA, or did you fall right into it?
I fell right into it, really.
Because you don't take any crap off anybody, right?
I think that's a pretty well-known fact.
But anybody thinks you're from the country and you can't take care of yourself.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Because of John McCormack, who Bad Dog, who went out there to try to make it as a stand-up comedian, went out there, he said, they kicked my butt. I came back to Memphis, because it is tough to live out there and make it in any kind of a business.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's been good for me. It was life-changing for me.
Let's go back to some photos. Here we got somebody else that's kind of well known.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say. I have loved him from the day I first heard his music, and I'll be a JT fan till the day I die.
Is there something, because so many people I've interviewed over the years, most of them are really good people and genuine. Then there's a few people that you sit there and go, well, that's not at all what I expected. They're egomaniacs, or they're rude to the people that work for them or with them. But for the most part, I've always been very impressed with people that have maintained their integrity as a human being, and were very genuine to other people.
Here's how great he is. When his first Warner Brothers record came out, not the Apple record, but his Sweet Baby James album, I found out he was playing at a club in the West Village in New York. So my friend Barbara and I and a couple other buddies, we decided we were going to go. And I called the club, and the owner of the club answered the phone, and I said, here's a crazy question for you, but we would like to come to New York and see James perform. And he said, well, if you're going to come to New York to see him from Memphis, I'll not only make sure you get in, but I'll introduce you to him. And
wow.
They sat us on the stage with him, and then after the show, he and Peter Asher took us all out to the Minetta Tavern. And he and I we just kind of hit it off, and we hung out when he was here making Two-Lane Blacktop, and I took him to an after party with the Burrito Brothers and the Birds at the Thunderbird, and I run into him from time to time, and it's always a pleasure.
You're able to become friends with these people, not just somebody that says, I really like your music. You actually, what is the common denominator there? Is it you're just an honest, genuine person? You're not totally gaga over these people, and you can talk the business with them?
I don't know. It's just, it's a mystery to me. Sometimes it's just the way it kind of pans out, I mean, there's a person who was an unsung hero of this town for so many years, who finally got recognized when the Stax Written in Their Souls record came out, and I couldn't be happier for someone.
Deanie Parker?
Deanie Parker.
And then the guy next to her, Jody.
He's my BFF.
And then you got your Big Star shirt on right there.
Absolutely, man. I mean...
And there you are again.
Those guys.
And at Huey's, of all places.
Yeah, well.
When you look at... Because I moved here in '78, and you look at what it was like in '78, Memphis has changed a lot, but all these places are still there that were there before.
Mm-hmm.
And you come back to Memphis and look around. What is it like for you coming back to Memphis and seeing all these places you hung out many years ago?
Well, this morning I was driving around doing a few errands, and I just texted one of my friends back in L.A., and I said, it's really so good to be in Memphis. It's home.
Yeah. It's and I think about it a lot because I talked to Jim Elliott, who's a real dear friend of yours, who's in Connecticut, has been there for well over 30 years. And I said, I'm driving down Central near where his house used to be,
mm-hmm.
and in Midtown. And I said, I used to know people that ran all the businesses, all the restaurants and nightclubs from one end of this county to the other. And all those years later, and it's like I drive through, everybody's retired, dead, or, the business is closed, but it is something like a comfortable jacket you put on or a pair of shoes you start driving through, and you just all these memories come flooding back.
Oh, it's true.
Of who you knew there, where you went there, what happened there, and what do people when you first moved to LA and currently, and they say, well, originally you're from Memphis. What is the impression in the outside world? Because that's one reason we're doing this show is Memphis is an incredible place with some incredible people that have done incredible things and continue to do so. But so many people in Memphis have such a negative outlook on it because they think everybody else in the world doesn't have crime or any of the things that are going on here, but it's everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we've been occupied by the National Guard and a crazy amount of military in L.A. for weeks and weeks, which was so unnecessary.
Well, I remember when they brought in the National Guard and we had the police, fire strike, teacher strike. They were all striking here at one point back in the early 80s. And it was weird. In fact, Gilda Radner came here and did a thing on Saturday Night Live about going to Memphis on her summer vacation.
Really? I don't remember that. Yeah. I might have to find that.
Rosanna Downer.
Rosanna Downer, yes.
Yeah, it's a hilarious bit. But what in L.A. when people find out you're from Memphis, does that carry any panache?
Well, it depends on the person. You know, if they're a musician, yes. If they're not, they may be clueless, you know.
But there is a connotation about Memphis. I remember somebody from here was on American Idol, and I said, did the other contestants, when they found out you're from Memphis, did they feel, what did they say about it? They said, they didn't think it was fair that they should have somebody from Memphis on. Somehow you have a leg up, an advantage.
Maybe.
But I do think there's an extraordinary number of people, not just musicians, but entrepreneurs. People have started companies, Fred Smith, Pitt Hyde. I mean, the list goes on, and then all the musicians and talent. That there is something about Memphis that it somehow taps into the creative side of people.
Well, Dickinson was convinced that it was a power vortex at Walnut Grove and Mendenhall. That's like, you know, it's a thing. I mean, Memphis definitely has a thing going on.
Here's somebody who's very creative.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most prolific photographers. I'm sorry. Who's this?
Steve Cropper.
That's Steve Cropper, bass player for Booker T and the MGs.
Guitar player.
He was in a band that kind of the house band though for Stax, right?
Yeah, Booker T and the MGs.
Yeah. And but there was who are these folks?
That's Jerry Williams, me, William Bell, and Steve Cropper.
All right. And then on this one,
there's
the Jeeker.
There's the Jeeker in your speaker. And that's Judd Phillips Jr. there in the middle, who is no longer with us, unfortunately. And David Flashman, who is better known as the Memphis Flash, who probably one of the oldest and dearest friends I have. I mean, Flash and I have been through the wars together. And that's his wife, Jay, on the other side of me there. That was at Flash's 65th birthday party.
George, who just passed away a few years ago, one of the kindest people I ever met, and apologized profusely if he didn't call you back immediately. I mean, think of all the people he has met over his lifetime.
When I think of how nice and kind and considerate he was of me as a crazed teenage fangirl, I mean, he was sitting with me at that Beatles press conference, and I had the impression that there was a game plan that I was going to, make a presentation and give him the key, and the press conference ended, and then George comes up behind me and says, Pat, you better go give him the key because they're getting ready to leave.
Yep.
And so I just got up. We were sitting on the front row. I got up, and here's the deal. I held out my hand with the key in it to Paul McCartney, and I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Nothing. Felt like a moron.
Big chance.
Yeah.
And the free.
But I did write a letter to Brian Epstein's office, and they sent me back a telegram saying that they did understand what happened, that they are appreciative of the key, and it was certainly one of their most prized possessions.
Yeah.
So
there you are. But you got over the shyness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was starstruck. I was so madly in love with Paul McCartney then, it was terrible.
Well, you weren't alone. There was
Tell me
millions of young ladies that were in the same way. Here you are with Boo Mitchell and his daddy right behind him, who played at Sleep Out Louie's.
The great thing, one of the great things about working at Poplar Tunes is that the High Records office was upstairs on the second floor, and anytime you walked in there, Willie could be there, Joe Coogie could be there, their crew. I sold records to Al Green, and I gave the paychecks to the house band that was their rhythm section. Wow, I mean, what a great family, what a great legacy.
And Boo is another great human being, nice as he could possibly.
Tremendous.
And his sister, we saw
All
of them. In fact, I've got a picture coming up in a minute of you and Boo.
At that big party?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a blast.
Now, this is where? That's Boo.
That's at the
outside
studio.
Royal.
Yeah,
like I said.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible place. I mean, how successful he's been. And he's on a tour in Europe right now.
Yeah, he's in Finland.
Yeah. And who is this?
That's Teeny Hodges, Maybon Hodges. He played guitar with the rhythm section at High, and he co-wrote "Take Me to the River" and "Love and Happiness." And Teeny was just, he was like, I was so devastated when he passed, but he had lung cancer and he wouldn't give up smoking. But man, that guy is a legend. I mean, anybody in R&B especially, but in rock and roll, just thought the world of him.
Well, there's so many people like that. And I'm often thought somebody ought to do Marty and Yoakum.
Dwight, yeah.
Yeah. And High Records. I love the T-shirt.
Yeah. That was actually at a North Mississippi All-Stars concert in L.A.
Wow. Marty's super, and Dwight he's also a great actor, Dwight is.
Oh, he's fantastic.
I mean, look at some of the movies he's been in. Sling Blade.
I totally agree. He plays a great villain.
Yeah. And yet he doesn't come off as a villain at all.
No, not at all.
With the cowboy hat and the jeans and the boots.
But he is a fabulous actor. I agree.
Let's see who else is here.
Smokey.
Smokey Robinson, and another Big Star shirt. And
oh my God, that was, for a time when I first moved to L.A., John Scott worked as basically a volunteer for the T.J. Martell Foundation. And every year in the spring, we would put on a series of fundraising events. And sometimes we'd always do a golf tournament. Sometimes we'd have a softball game. Sometimes we'd have a hockey game. But we usually always did what we called the Rock and Jock softball games. And every year we had like an honorary captain of each team. We had the Rockers versus the Rollers. And Little Richard came out this year to sing the national anthem.
I just love everything he's ever done.
Yeah.
And he was such a showman. I mean, such an incredible showman. And even look back at the time when he came out, and he was rather flamboyant about who he was.
Yeah.
And yet it didn't matter to anybody. It just didn't, because he was such an incredible...
He transcended everything because of his talent. I first met him and became friends with him when I was doing the travel for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the year he got inducted, I think, was the first year I worked for doing that. And he just was a delight.
Wasn't he in the movie American Graffiti? Because I can just remember him at the piano, but I've seen so many scenes.
I don't know.
Probably one of the best piano players that ever lived, along with Jerry Lee and Jason D, who I think is incredible. We had him on the show not long ago. But Little Richard, what a talent he is.
Oh.
And there's Mr. Phillips.
Knox. Oh, boy, he is so missed.
Yeah. And we were talking about, because we've got Jerry Phillips coming on Monday.
Oh, man.
And we were talking yesterday on the phone, and I was saying, all you guys, probably Knox and Sam much more so than Jerry and the other brother, but Knox and Sam had personality out the wazoo. And I remember the first time, in fact, I interviewed him at Phillips' studio when I first moved to Memphis with Jim Elliott and Steve Lacy, and Knox was there, and I interviewed Sam. And I've heard Sam tell the same story about how he came to Memphis a million times.
Mm-hmm.
And he always told it with as much enthusiasm and freshness as he did to me way back in the late 70s. I mean, he loved telling that story.
Sam was a born orator, you know.
Yeah.
He thrived when he was on stage, and he was like, you know, he was doing his thing.
Well,
but this man here, I've never met anyone sweeter, nicer, more good-hearted, just the best friend you could ever hope to have.
I've got some pictures come up here. So there's Kiss.
That was so funny. We went to, me, my mom, my friend Cheryl, in the blue shirt next to me, who's the head of Omnivore Records. We were at a Kiss concert at the Forum, and we were sitting in our seats, and then I think Cheryl and I went out to the Forum Club or something, and they were doing these photo ops, and they asked us if we wanted to do one, so we did.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, it is a great picture.
Who looks like Kiss?
Yeah.
Only one group in the world.
Crazy,
like
isn't it? Aw, there's a rogues gallery, that's for sure.
And that's on the far right. Is that Ardent
On the far right is Judd Phillips Jr., and then next to him is Jeff Powell, Susan Marshall's husband.
No, that's not who I thought it was. And then Jerry over.
And then Jerry P.
Yeah.
And then Jim and Jill Lancaster next to Jerry. There's Raz.
Mr. High Stepper himself.
Yep.
How's he doing? He had some health problems last year.
Oh, he's got big health problems. He's got Parkinson's, and he took a fall in his yard, and he really banged himself up good. That's why he didn't come to the Hall of Fame. No, the Hall of Fame induction.
Because he was going to be inducted there last September.
Yeah.
And who we got here?
This is Bobby Rush in the middle,
okay,
you know, who is like, what, Bobby is like now 85, I think, and still performing and touring like he was like a young man. And that's me, and on one side between Bobby and myself is Cheryl, the head of Omnivore, and her wife, Audrey, on the other side of me, who's the president of Reed College in Portland. And then on the other far side is Mike and Joy Graves. They have Osiris Studios, and Mike is an engineer, and he takes a lot of these archival recordings that we get a hold of and cleans them up.
Very involved with all this archival stuff and cleaning them up and digitizing them.
Mike is a true genius. He really is. They moved to L.A. from Atlanta. And there's Bobby Rush again. That was at a Grammy party. That's Miss Lowe, who is a singer and dancer with Bobby. And then my friend Cheryl, who ran a really great club in L.A. called the Write-Off Room that unfortunately closed during the pandemic.
They wrote it off.
Well, it was really, it was a fantastic spot. Oh, my God, look at this. This is the black and white photograph is from a Tom Petty show at the Orpheum.
Wow.
Maybe in 78, I think. That's Ron Olson, me, John Petty, Jim Burge's brother Steve, Rose Slays, Gina Lucchese, Rose, and Lee McLemore, and then Ben Mont on the far right. And then there's me and John and Lee McLemore from maybe the second to last tour that happened before Tom Petty passed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Which shocked everybody, Tom Petty, because he had just performed here in Memphis.
I was at the very last show.
Wow. And
this is the garage band royalty shot, man.
Yeah, look at that.
Flash, Raz, Alex, and me. Oh, my God. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
It really is. We were talking about this today, too. Beth and I were looking at the photo. Is when Alex kind of went away from Big Star, and I'd heard there was a British reporter that was in town looking, wanted to do an interview with him. And they said, well, you can find him. He's working in the kitchen at Danvers at Kirby and Poplar. Did you ever heard this story?
No, that was Chris Bell. That wasn't Alex. Because Chris Bell's family owned Danvers.
That's who it was then.
Yeah.
But he went there and interviewed him, and he said, can you come out? And he goes, can you come back right after the lunch for us? I'm kind of busy. But
now, when Big Star didn't do their thing, Alex, we tried one last thing with Alex. We did a solo record on him down at Phillips Recording called Like Flies on Sherbert, and that didn't really go over either. And Alex just hung it up. He moved to New Orleans and he started washing dishes and worked for the power company and trimmed trees and
did everything.
It took maybe a good 10, 15 years for him to come back to music, but he finally did.
Well, and then 30-something? What was the TV series that used his song?
That 70s Show.
70s Show, which my son just loved. And he said, I love this opening song. And I said, that's Big Star.
Yeah.
And he goes, who's Big Star?
Oh, boy.
But that's how it got introduced back to a new generation of people.
I agree. And there's a lot of debt that we owe to people like Paul Westerberg and the Replacements and Soul Asylum and people who really appreciated Big Star and Alex and didn't really let that music die.
Yeah, because it would have. If people they kept reintroducing it in a different way, and it's still kind of a benchmark for a lot of people, especially from Memphis music.
It really is a touchstone, and this iteration that is performing Saturday night here, which is called the Big Star Quintet, kind of got together.
GPAC.
Yeah, they kind of got together on the 50th anniversary of Big Star's record, Radio City, and I saw them here and I saw them in L.A. twice, and it's absolutely unbelievable how great they are. I mean, and it's Jody playing drums, Pat Sansone of Wilco, Mike Mills of REM, John Auer of the Posies, and Chris Stamey, Chris really deserves a lot of credit, too, for trying to help Alex get his career on track. He made some solo records with him, and he's kind of spearheaded this Big Star Quintet kind of thing.
Revival.
And, yeah, God bless him.
It's a sellout, though, GPAC, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, in fact, it sold out almost immediately
as
they announced it. Here's a sellout crowd, the Rolling Stones. How many times have you seen the Stones?
Man, I don't know, 75 or 80 maybe. I mean, that was in Twickenham in London about 6, 7 years ago.
Is it amaze you? They're still playing with the energy they play with, and Mick out there dancing around like he did when he was 20.
I should say it does, and on one hand it does, and on the other hand, not really. I mean, what else are they going to do? You know, it's like they're not going to. I mean, Keith has kind of taken up gardening, but I don't think that's really his thing. You know?
I think he does have help, so it's not exactly.
I mean, it's like I think of them and I think of Furry Lewis and all the great blues players that came. That's their life, and they're not going to quit playing.
Well, they love doing what they do.
Yeah. I mean, and I was lucky enough to see how many times. I saw them 3 times on their last tour.
Wow.
Ready to roll at any time.
Well, I think we've seen the Stones twice here, and it's what's so great about them is that they love coming to America to perform because so much of their music is about America. I mean, they're a rock and roll blues band, and I think they fell in love with American music before they tried doing anything else.
Well, that was what their whole premise was, and it was actually Brian who started that at the beginning. It was, it was a blues band. It was Brian's band, and then as things kind of took shape, and Mick and Keith started writing songs, and Brian just kind of went down a bad road with drugs, and that's just how it kind of panned out.
Well, I remember in the old days, they would come to Memphis, and they always would go have a pre- or post-party at the Rendezvous. And Nick Vergas would tell me, he said, back in the old days, he said, man, they were champagne and all kinds of, because they didn't sell liquor there, so they had to bring it all in.
Yep.
And he said, then as time went by, all of them that had survived quit drinking. They weren't doing the drugs they used to do. And it was the kids that were ordering the champagne and everything now, because Mick and the boys, they're all eating vegetarians and eating healthy, and otherwise they wouldn't be still here.
Thank God they are.
Yeah, absolutely. This is here in Memphis on Main.
Yep.
Blues Hall of Fame. It's a great picture of both of you.
Yep.
And
oh my God, that's fantastic. That's one of those charity events we did for the Martell Foundation, and the fact that we got Michael McKeon to dress up like his character in Spinal Tap and come out there and play baseball, that made my year. I'm the biggest fan of that movie. Oh my God.
Huge hit.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, geez.
There's another one of your favorite actors.
Yeah. What can I say? I just I was mesmerized by Californication, and then I kind of went back and got into the X-Files, and then I became good friends with his manager and one of his other friends, and it was really a fun ride while it lasted. He's kind of lost his mind now trying to be a rock star, but...
Does that amaze you when you see people who are very successful as an actor, and then they want to become a musician, and that happens a lot?
I mean, I understand his thinking. He was a English major in college and always wrote poetry, and when he got bored on set, he started thinking he would learn to play guitar just to amuse himself, and then he'd write poetry, and then, but you know, he just can't sing. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's terrible.
Which they've always told me that, but I believed them, and so I don't sing. But you look at how many people who are actors that want to be in music, but you see people in music that want to go into acting. Chris Christopherson was somebody that I thought ended up being a very good actor.
Fantastic. That man is a genius.
Yeah.
He was a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a Rhodes Scholar.
He was a captain, helicopter pilot in Vietnam.
Yeah.
In fact, Norbert Putnam, who was part of Elvis's house band at RCA, told me that he met Chris. He was with somebody else in the studio. They were in there, just the two of them, after a session. Chris comes in. He's wearing all in black like he always did. He goes, "Excuse me, guys, are you through with those cigarette butts in the ashtray?" They said, "Yeah." Well, why? He said, "I'm a new janitor here, and I'm just cleaning up, but I always want to make sure that's not something you want to pick back and strike it up again."
That's funny.
And then he eventually said, he came up and said, "You know, I've written a song. I'd like to get you guys to, and I'll pay you to do a session with me." And they said, "We'll give you an hour." And he played for him, and he said, "Well, he can't sing for beans, but he's a great writer."
Yeah.
But even his voice, I mean, people, it didn't matter.
I love Chris. He's so sweet.
And everybody said that about him. He's just really a great guy.
There's my cross to bear. Oh, my God. He and his wife are two of my best friends, and his life is crazy, and I try to help him make it from one day to the next whenever I can. I mean, well, it's been a trip knowing them, and I think the world of them.
And here,
yeah,
another shot.
Oh, my goodness. I have adored Matt Bomer since his days in White Collar, and I will say unequivocally, he is maybe the nicest human I've ever met as a celebrity that you don't know from Adam. Wow. I mean, what a phenomenally wonderful and nice man. Oh, my.
Which is always good to hear.
Yes.
The Levitt Shell.
Thank God back. It's now, I wish that said Overton Park Shell, but we're back to that, thank God.
Yeah, it is, because the Levitt Association is ended, but the Shell is still there, and they're still rocking.
Yeah, I mean, next year is the 90th anniversary,
Wow.
and I have a meeting with the folks at the Shell tomorrow. We're starting to make some plans for what they're going to do next year to celebrate.
Good, I'm glad they got you working with it.
Yeah.
Here you are, the executive.
That's Sam Phillips' office on the third floor at
Wow.
Phillips Recording.
Never even went up there. We did his interview and everything downstairs, and I guess he didn't think about giving us a tour because he probably figured we'd seen it before. Yeah. He certainly had.
Yeah.
This is an interesting photograph.
Well, it's just, you know, the maestro himself, the great William Eggleston, who is just one of my dearest friends. And
that's all Jim Elliott used to talk about because he's such a big photographer. And he goes, you know that we have Jim Eggleston. This is where he's from. This is where he took his pictures. I said, I know. He goes, I don't think you fully appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, this is the man to have the first one-man show of color photography at the Museum of Modern Art.
Yeah.
I mean, and that just was the beginning.
Well, he was amazing, and nobody had ever done what he did with color photography. And he just saw something different from everybody else. Here's one of my favorite people in the world, Henry
Me too.
Turley.
You know, Henry worked with my mom back in the 70s, and one summer when I was out of college, I had a summer job working for, what did I do? I interviewed people for a housing project that the county was doing, and Henry had the office next to me, and I would hear music coming from his office, and we would start talking about music, and then that just formed an immediate bond between us. And Henry thought the world of my mom, and I just thought the world of him because he appreciated my mom.
He was he is one of the nicest people I ever meet. I remember Sleep Out Louis was in his building there across from the
Yeah, at the Shrine. Yeah.
And I asked him one time, because he used to come in every once in a while to get a drink of Wild Turkey 101. I still remember what he drinks. And I said, Henry, do you ever walk out downtown and look at all these buildings and go, I own all of this? And he just died laughing with that laugh.
We owe him a big debt for a lot of the stuff that he did. Absolutely.
He's truly a visionary.
Yes, he was. Aw, that's Leland Sklar. He is probably one of the more renowned bass players of our generation, and then some. He's played with James Taylor and Linda Ronstadt and Lyle Lovett, and it goes on and on and on, and just the sweetest. Big dog lover. That was what formed a bond with us. We both are big dog lovers.
And one of my favorite people, Anthony Bourdain, who I was going to ask you this because there were all these stories when he was found dead. I think it was in Switzerland?
In France.
France. He had just had dinner the night before with somebody who was going to be filming the next day.
Yes.
Another chef.
Yes. Eric.
And
his best friend who owns Le Bernardin, who found him.
Yeah. And they had a great dinner. He said we didn't drink too much, which is unusual, but he said we didn't. He was excited about the shoot tomorrow. He just had a new contract, I think, with the Food Network. He just left CNN and gone with the Food Network and had a new contract. He had a girlfriend. Everything was going great.
That girlfriend derailed him.
Well, I think they had some problems and had kind of broken up. And I think he was kind of distraught over that. But the other thing I heard was that he knew something about the Jeffrey Epstein situation, and that he knew some of the people that were on the list, and he was said, I'm gonna give an interview on this, and then he ends up he's found hanging in the closet.
Yeah.
But you'd never heard anything about that.
Mm-mm. I mean, that was at a book signing he did at Broman's bookstore in Pasadena. That's the only time I met him.
His Kitchen Confidential was the first thing I ever read by him, and I was just, because I'd been in the restaurant business, had some restaurants, so I said, this guy's telling the truth.
Yeah, he
This
is.
is what this business is about. And but then he became such an incredible writer and
unbelievable
and presenter, and the way he really gave you a history lesson on the countries and the places he went. But he talked about the food, and it was just one of the most impressive things I ever saw him do. They were in I think Haiti, and so they were filming there, and all these people were surrounding this kind of hut they were shooting in during the interview. And he said, these people are starving to death, and we're in here cooking food. He said, what if we bring some food in and feed all these people? And he goes, it's not a good idea. He said, we got the money, and we know where we can get the food. We're going to do it. So they send out for a ton of food. Trucks drive up. Literally a riot breaks out.
Oh, boy.
And that's when he left it all in the show and said, that's when I learned that if people tell you this is not a good idea, listen to them because they know their country. Tragic loss for them. He was a very talented man. And this is, I understand, where the blues actually began? Is that
that's the Dockery Farms plantation. After the Stax Written in Their Soul record came out and they were nominated for the Grammy. They won the Grammy, and then there was a program that they decided to do in Mississippi at the Grammy Museum down there. And
which I understand. I have not been there. It's really cool.
Yeah. My friend Cheryl was one of the co-producers of that project, and she asked me to accompany them down there, and that was an incredible experience to go to Mississippi. It was the first time she'd ever been to Mississippi, ever been on a plantation.
Is this in Clarksdale?
Yeah.
You know, that's where the Shack Up Inn is.
Mm-hmm.
It's also where Morgan Freeman lives right outside of him. It has Ground Zero, and then he had Medidi, which is his very upscale restaurant. Kathy and I had dinner a couple of times with him there. He loved it so much, he moved back there, and I asked him, he said, well, you can live anywhere in the world. Why'd you move back to Mississippi? He said, because I could live anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And he said, he said, how did you get them to just let you be Morgan? He said, because I went around to all the places I was going to visit, the hardware store, the liquor store, and said, I'm Morgan Freeman, I'm moving back here, don't treat me like the zoo.
Right.
And he said after that, they never did. It was just, hey, Morgan, and treat him just like everybody else. Now, here's some big name stars. Who is that?
Oh, my God, that's you and me, brother.
That was at the
Memphis Music Hall of Fame thing.
Hall of Fame. There you are. And
that's Hart.
Jimmy Hart. And I saw you work in the room with Steve Conley's. You're talking to Hart, and you're there. He's coming in to make the kill. I got a story I hadn't heard.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, my
here
God.
you are.
Yeah.
Photo bombing.
I had to. I couldn't let y'all do that.
I didn't even see that happen until I got the picture, and I went, Pat, at her best. But there's some good people right there.
Yeah.
And it's always good because I didn't know you were going to be there and to see you, and it's always just like, wow, there she is.
You never know when I'm going to appear in Memphis, Tennessee.
You don't, and now everybody that's watching this knows you're in town.
Yeah.
And so you'll be here how long?
Till Monday. Unfortunately, I have a memorial to attend on Sunday. Do you remember a record promotion gentleman named Rusty Hill?
I knew who he was.
He went by the nickname Bucks because he was the money man and all of that
so
stuff.
all the jocks.
And he passed. He had, I think, lung cancer himself. But he was a remarkable human being. He had developed an addiction problem, and he conquered that, and then he became an advocate and a counselor and did really good work helping people trying to find their way from a bad situation into being healthy and productive.
Well, certainly the music business is no stranger to any of that.
Yeah.
And same thing with the restaurant business, really any business. I mean, it's people and them dealing with what they deal with, and some people find solace in that, but it's a rough road no matter what you do.
Yeah, it is.
Your favorite thing about your lifetime so far is the fact that it's the people, because in a way you kind of collect people.
Yeah, I mean, I am a collector, that's for sure.
And they're all very interesting, different people. You don't go out and find, the big Hollywood stars. These are people you just happen to really admire for the things that you see in them, but not just as an actor, but as a person. And so I think your eclectic friendships with all these amazing people, and it's also a tribute to you because they see the value in you. Because believe me, they got people trying to hang on to them all the time.
I'm sure. Yeah, I think the common denominator with me and Tony Bourdain was we both had a very similar sense of humor, and I so appreciated the way he presented things and was so honest but so funny at the same time.
Yeah, they have a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you came in and spent some time with us. I think people know you a little bit better for who you are and the great life that you've had, and that it continues. And so we'll be looking forward to your next trip to Memphis and another round of stories.
We got the Shell's 90th is probably the next big thing on my agenda.
Well, we'll look forward to that. Come in early, and we'll talk about it, and then see you at the Shell.
Yeah.
All right. Pat.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great time in your hometown.
It's not hard to do. I mean, it's so easy to have a good time here.
Well, I appreciate you coming in and spend some time with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's our show for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.